Good morning, this is Debbie Perez, your secondary ELAR coordinator. I wanted to spend some time and create a short video for you guys to show you the different resources and lessons that we have available for English 1 and 2 teachers as we near the end of course exam. You should visit the district website, and from the district website you will go ahead and log in to your SchoolWires account. You do that by clicking on the login on the top right hand corner. Then you go ahead and use your Novell address, login information. Oh, that's not my Novell. And once you log in, if you can hit departments, it should be in the middle of your screen where my cursor is. When you click on departments, you will scroll down and you will look for English Language Arts Secondary. You click on that. It's going to take you to our district webpage for secondary ELAR. On the side there's a tab that says Teacher Resources. We can click on that. That'll take you to some of the instructional resources that we have and that we're creating for middle school and high school. One thing that you'll go to specifically for this video is the STAR EOC resources under high school. And if you click on that, it'll take you to our Humble ISD secondary ELAR STAR resources for teachers. Once again, if you're not seeing this page, it's probably because you're not logged in. So if you can make sure that you are logged in, you should be able to see it. We have a lot of different things for you to look at and for you to play with, but the one thing I'm going to be focusing on this morning is the short answer resource. If I can get you to go to the District EOC Resources section and click on Short Answer Resources, I want to talk to you about the lessons that we have available there for you. Once you click on the Short Answer Resources, you have a plethora of available items and tools and resources and strategies and lessons for you. You more specifically have the Short Answer Lessons section, which is this section right here. And this is a one-stop shop for the multiple lessons that we've created for the short answers, and everything that you need is inside this section. It starts off with a presentation. This is a presentation that once you open, it's a PDF file, so you will be able to use. You'll also be able to edit and format it, but once you open it, I'm going to go ahead and put it on display mode so that you can see how it will look once it's being utilized. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on a slideshow so you can see specifically what you have at your disposal. This one PowerPoint alone will encompass all of the lessons that we have specifically created for your students in preparation for the short answer portion of the EOC. So it starts off with a slide where you will input your own information, walks through students through the characteristics of an effective short answer with elements coming specifically from the rubric but that have been translated to the acronym ACE. I know some of you may be familiar with this strategy. ACE will only give you a 2 if you follow it. ACES, however, with the S, has the potential of yielding a 3 for the response. For students who are unsure about how to address a question or what to do once they're looking at that question, I put a scaffolding strategy that was provided by Region 4 for the OER, which I think is still beneficial for the short answer. What kind of steps the students take when they try to answer a short answer response. I've also found this graphic organizer online that I've changed to fit the needs of the short answer question, and it basically takes the acronym of ACES and it reminds students the different steps that you take when you answer the question. It basically guides each of the boxes and what A and the C and the E and the S means to students. It also tells them and reminds them the highest score that you can get once that box is completed and it's accurate. So for this section, for example, if the student is to complete just the answer alone, the highest score they can get is a 1. But let's say they include an answer and they embed evidence, the highest score they can still get is a 1. If they, however, move forward to the next section and complete the third box, which is the explanation phase, the highest score they can get is a 2. And then it moves them to a 3, which includes showing an insightful connections across the entire text. What it also has embedded in this specific PowerPoint are the different lessons that we have available. The lessons are linked in the earlier website that we'll go back and preview, but I want you to see what the teachers have available to actually use and implement in the classroom. If I was to choose one of the stories, and all of these links you can actually click on, it will actually take you through the process of answering the question. It'll remind students to highlight the important words. It will actually walk through the class example of the ACEs strategy so that students can complete it with you, or this is something that they can copy on their note cards or on their graphic organizer. And then it takes you through the different ways that a 3, a 2, and a 1 is accomplished. It takes the information from the cards and the graphic organizer. You put it together, it creates a 3. And then it shows students the different elements of this response that make it a 3. It specifically walks them through the A, through the C, through the E, and through the S. That way they can visually see why this is scoring a 3. It then takes on, and then you will be able to see examples of 2s, examples of 1, and then of course examples of more 1s and 0s. And the entire all the examples for the sets of stories will include a 3, 2, 1 so that you can show students over just the class example question. When the students see example zeros, they will be directed to a link that is called Your Turn. If you click on that, it will take them to the directions. This is what they have to do now. The whole lesson is designed around the model of the gradual release, where the teacher first starts, then the students can independently or with a partner work on these questions. And this is the page that gives them the directions. After this page, they have an opportunity to score those responses based on this scoring, the short answer, shortened rubric that will help them get to the gist of these scores more easily. So this is the PowerPoint, and once again, if you were able to go back to the beginning, you would see that if you were to click on another story, you'd have the same thing that would happen. You have the class example question, you have the highlighting, you have the answers that pop up that either you can work together or you can use this as your class example. You have your sample 3, your 2s, your 1s, and your 0s. Each of these responses also have teacher notes at the bottom, so if you're unsure as to why something scored a 0 or a 1 or a 2, if you read the teacher annotations in the bottom, it'll kind of explain whether it's missing an explanation, whether the answer is wrong, whether it's not interpretive but simply a literal answer. It'll give you that information at the bottom of the slide. So I'm going to go ahead and close this PowerPoint. I just wanted you to see how this PowerPoint alone has all of the elements of the lesson that you can use in one simple slideshow so that you can actually start implementing your lessons as soon as you get access to this. So I'm going to close this, and then I'm going to show you the other components of this lesson. You not only have the presentation that I just showed you that has all of the stories already embedded through the I do, the we do, and the you do, but you also have the graphic organizer that when you open it will give you the handout that you will pass out to students as they complete these short answer responses. Now this handout, you can use this graphic organizer, or you can have them recreate these boxes on their own sheet of paper, or you can hand them large post-it notes so they can actually start filling out the boxes in there. It's really up to you how you want to use it. I'm going to close that. The most important thing besides the PowerPoint, however, is the actual lesson that I have for you guys. So I want to walk you through what that lesson looks like. If you click on one of them, let's say the given tree, and I have put them in order of what I consider to be the easiest to the more complicated ones at the end. I feel sometimes when you are teaching students a strategy, whether it's the ACEs or just how to use the boxes alone, it's a good idea to start with something that they're already familiar with, something that you can show them how to think beyond the comprehension, and something that's not going to bog them down because they're not sure about whether it's the comprehension that's holding them back or the higher level thinking that's holding them back. So this is what a sample lesson looks like. It specifically gives you all of the materials that you'll need. All of these things are available for you on this website, except for things like pencil and paper and the video. Everything else, however, handouts, PowerPoints, I've made available for you. Then it specifically details the procedures. What do you do? What do you say? What do you pass out? What happens in the classroom when you're doing this lesson? And then it tells you how the assessment is going to be read at the end. So what you basically do is you talk the students through the passage. Every single one of those lessons has the passage already embedded for you. Some of them have videos and text that they can listen to it while they read, or they can watch the video the first time, then read it. It depends on what specific lesson you're doing. So it has the instructions to read the following passage and answer the questions that follow. Before they actually start answering the short answer questions, however, I included some English 1 and English 2 specific questions that correlate with the TEKS and deal with comprehension, or figure 19, so that as a class you can start discussing the what and what happened and what it's about before you start getting into the more critical thinking questions. So every single lesson comes with a group discussion questions that you can format in however way you want. Then you have your group short answer practice. Every single lesson has the class question that everyone's going to be doing together as a class, or that you can do as a think aloud for the students. After that lesson is completed using the PowerPoint and showing examples of 3, 2, 1, you will then move on to the student component, where they get to choose which question they want to answer using the text that we provided for them. The neat thing about these questions is that they are attached to the English 1 and 2 TEKS and figure 19, so that this is a lesson that can be utilized with not just the TEKS for that genre, but also with the figure 19 and short answer components. The cool thing, in addition to that, is that these questions range from easy to more difficult, so you have an opportunity to differentiate the type of instruction and assessment you want to provide. You can assign questions to students based on ability, or you can give them the option to choose the question they want to create or they want to respond to. At least one, possibly two if time allows. So the student will choose a question, and they will use the graphic organizer from earlier to try to respond to that question. And at the very end, you also have a handout that has the boxes from the state template. The first one is probably going to be the class example. The second one is probably going to be their partner or group response. And the third one is probably going to be their independent practice. Or you could have 2 independent practice after the class example. It's really up to you, but I wanted to give you at least 3 boxes that could fit nicely into that lesson. So, that being, I want to show you a couple of things that will help with the scaffolding process or the enrichment process of the short answer in just a minute that I have left. If you have students who need the specific STEM for writing a 2 or 3 response, I've created that for you, especially your ESL students who need a guide or a response format for how to score a 2 and how to score a 3. You also have this for the connecting response. In addition to that, sometimes students have a hard time moving beyond the author said. So I've created a word bank for you that will help students move beyond the author said or the quote shows. And the last thing I'm going to show you is the other different resources that you may have to help move students from a 1 to a 2 or a 2 to a 3. Please make sure that you go through those and look at them, and hopefully one of them will be something that you need. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, call me, or speak with your alt about how to access and use any of these resources. Thank you.